Rabbi Avraham Abba Fink was a blend of two worlds. Born in Europe, he came over to America with his parents just after Kristallnacht. His parents, hoping to see him grow into a true Erlich Yid, decided to send him to America's premier yeshiva, Torah Vodaas. With its mix of a rigorous Litvish approach to learning and the warmth of Hasidus, Torah Vodaas was the perfect fit for young Avraham Abba. And so, first from the Bronx and later from Washington Heights, he traveled by train in the dark, cold winter nights and the sweltering hot summer days to learn. There, he was profoundly influenced by the yeshiva's legendary Menahel, Rav Shraga Feivel Mendelovich, and his beloved Rebbe, Rav Pam. Avraham Abba blossomed during his years in the yeshiva, and he matured into a Varma Erlich Yid. His Simchas HaChaim was contagious, and his attachment to Torah was deep and sincere. His lifelong concern for the tzibur also took root during his years in the yeshiva. He was active, first in the Tzirei and later with Agudas Yisrael of America. In Rav Avraham Abba, one could find both a reflection of the grandeur of the Yiddishkeit that existed in Europe, as well as a person who fully understood the psyche of an American child. As such, when his children reached yeshiva age, he sought a yeshiva that, while fully in touch with the needs of an American-born child, would imbue that child with the eternal values that he held so dear: a love of Torah and mitzvahs, Erlichkeit, and a sense of the joy of being a Yid, the very qualities that he himself embodied. Like his parents before him, he turned to Torah Vodaas to be that yeshiva. With great siyata d'shmaya and the help of Torah Vodaas, his dreams came to fruition. When he was nifter this year, he left behind a family of B'nai Torah, Askanim, and respected Balabatim, all deeply dedicated to the Torah, mitzvahs, and Klal Yisrael. And they have formed a bond that now includes sons, grandsons, and great-grandsons. 4 generations educated in and dedicated to Torah Vodaas. The yeshiva wishes to thank the Fink, Hach, and Minzer Mishpachos for dedicating tonight's Malava Malka Le'ilui Nishmasa. Yehi Zichrei Baruch.
My connection to Torah Vodaas begins actually around 75 years ago, when my grandfather was Rosh Yeshiva there, and followed through to my father attending Torah Vodaas and being a member of the faculty of Torah Vodaas. Also, my brother is attending there, and finally I joined for Bis Medrash. I did enjoy my time in Torah Vodaas immensely. It was a great place for me to be, where I was able to learn, and I still have a lot of friends that I made from over there and shaykhs to the Rabbeim. Now, Torah Vodaas definitely molded the way I am. I was there for my Bis Medrash years, right before I got married, and then for 3-4 years after I got married. When you're shaping yourself towards the person that you want to be. My grandfather being Rosh Yeshiva in the yeshiva definitely was a connection for me to attend Torah Vodaas, and when I was there, I actually felt the connection. Even though I never knew my grandfather, I still was able to feel that, you know, people knew the name and people knew where I came from, and it meant a lot to me. Torah Vodaas was definitely a part of my life growing up. It was always mentioned in the house. I always knew where my grandfather, where he came from, and where my father went to yeshiva. Torah Vodaas was a pretty easy decision for me to send my son to. It was pretty much the obvious choice. There were many factors included in the decision of why I wanted to send my son to Torah Vodaas. Torah Vodaas doesn't try to mold you into someone that they want you to be. They try to see the best type of person that you can be and help you reach that potential.
I was very proud that my father was one of the Rosh Yeshiva in Torah Vodaas, was well known for writing the Sha'ar Yosher for Reb Shimon and learning together with Reb Shimon. My father was a very devoted Rosh Yeshiva. He cared for every single Talmud. I remember my father coming home, and he was schlepping home a big package of notebooks. He took home the notebooks of the Brachim. He wanted to see the way they write a shiurim and teach them how to write a shir. My father always felt that the main thing of a shir is the basic Gemara, Rashi, and Tosfos. Brachim used to go with my father, and he used to say to him, Rebbe, Fashteni Tosfos Teretz. My father would never tell him the Teretz. The first thing my father would say, when the Kasha Fashteistu, yeah, he saw that the Bacha didn't understand. He went back and he told him over the Gemara, and he told him over the Rashi. And then they went to Tosis Kash and he says, just give a kuk Rishain that Torah is good. And all of a sudden, the Bachar understood it. Why? Because the basics were there. I must tell you that I'm proud. This is 4 generations of Shapiro children in Torah Vodaas. I have other members of the family who went or are still in Torah Vodaas, some have joined the faculty. It makes me proud that there's a continuation. There's a hemshech. A hemshech is so important. Looking back to strive to be like those who were there before.
My connection to Torah Vodaas goes back many, many years. My father was a Talmud in the yeshiva, a graduate of the high school, a Talmud of Rav Pam for over 16 years. Rosh Yeshiva was not only the Masada Kedusha by my parents' wedding, but by our wedding as well. Our only son, who's a Talmud in the yeshiva, is named after him. My father was a teacher in the yeshiva for 18 plus years, and I was a teacher as well in the high school for 5 years. My time as a Talmud in Torah Vodaas was very memorable. Some of my closest lifelong friends are friends that I made in the yeshiva at Torah Vodaas. We've remained close for many, many years, and we always look back fondly on the memories of what it was like to be a Talmud in the yeshiva and the great times that we had. We were close with many of our Rabbeim growing up. The current principal of the yeshiva, Rabbi Goldstein, was my second grade Rebbe, who many, many years after leaving Torah Vodaas and having entered the business world, every time I returned to the yeshiva, it was always with a warm smile and a greeting, a favorite Rebbe and a favorite Talmud. The education level in Torah Vodaas is par excellence. One of the greatest things that I remember growing up is when people who were students of my father would run into me and say, I had your father as a teacher. And to this day, I run into people all over the world who say, I remember having your father. And it gave me a tremendous sense of pride to be able to give back in that same way and give to another generation of students. To know that I gave back and that I was responsible for helping educate Yiddish children is very important and very satisfying. I was active in the school on dinner committees, journal chairman, even before my son was old enough to go to yeshiva. And so when it came time to look for a yeshiva for our son, who's named Avram Yaakov after Rav Pam, it was a natural choice for us. We found that Torah Vodaas was unique in its approach, the connection and the warmth that the Hanhola and the Rabbeim have with each of the children. And the special attention and devotion was something that was not found elsewhere. And Mr. Fink is not only a great principal today, but was my principal as well. And Hanhola, Rabbi Goldstein, is so motivated to connect with each and every Talmud. And we find that our son has developed a tremendous connection with him, even at a very young age, through the aid of Rabbi Sabo and his specialized staff. Every single child's needs gets the attention that it deserves. The curriculum that is surrounded by Shirashim, Dikduk, is one that allows our son to be able to actually look at a Pasuk Chumash or a Mishnah, even at a very young age, and be able to dissect the words and understand the meaning even on his own. Know what Torah Vodaas is today. Torah Vodaas is an institution of warmth, of caring, chinuch par excellence. What's unique about a Torah Vodaas Talmud, from kindergarten all the way through Kollel, is their warmth.
Yeshiva Torah Vodaas is a Torah institution that is world-renowned. It has turned out for almost a century Talmidim who are Talmidei Chachamim, B'nai Torah, and Elech HaYidden. They reside throughout the world and are from all walks of life. My kesher to the yeshiva goes back many years. Growing up, everyone I came in contact with, including my relatives and friends, were Talmidim of the yeshiva. This continued later on as well, when I met my father-in-law, Zohar Zayin Gesund, who came out of the ashes of the Holocaust, and it was Torah Vodaas who embraced him with open arms. My brother-in-law and Mechutin are also alumni of the yeshiva. My sons, Avi, Eli, and Osher, also attended the yeshiva. They steiged in learning and formed a strong kesher with their Rebbeim that continues even today. We were so pleased with their hatzlacha at the yeshiva that Baruch Hashem, our grandchildren, Moshe and Shmuel, are now also attending, and in Yitz Hashem, they will be matzliach as well. Therefore, I would like to express my hakaras hatov to the yeshiva for the dedication and tireless effort they put into the chinuch of my children, instilling in them Ahavas Torah and Yiras Shamayim, which was instrumental in them becoming true B'nai Torah. I am confident that Be'ezus Hashem, this will continue into the next generation as well. A good Tova.